Okay, folks, it's January 31st, 2017. I'm going to be shooting a video on my computer. Don't know how to transfer from one to the other right now, but I'm going to use this device to transfer to YouTube. I'll be starting a YouTube channel to go with my website or blog called Pedestals.siterubics.com. And it is a site about my fight with parental alienation. I try to update it pretty much every day. I have been quite busy trying to prepare things for court. That's why I'm actually shooting this video and going through all these videos. I want to note that by going through these videos, I've been able to see over a year's period of time how the alienation, well, basically when it started, how it ramped up, how it's affected our children, and it's not a pretty sight. Sometimes it's kind of under the radar, I would say. Sometimes it is pretty bad, but by watching this, you'll be able to see kind of what the end result is after a deal of time has gone by, and you can kind of see what tactics is used, and it's heartbreaking to watch, but I've got to do it preparing for court, and I intend to fight to the end, basically to make sure that my kids do not have to endure it any longer. Unfortunately, I did have to wait a while because I had to make sure that I had enough proof to show. I needed to show a track record, a before and after, so that I can show how it's affected our children. And unfortunately, that's what you got to do, because it is fighting this type of abuse is not easy. If you read all the horror stories, you can definitely see what happens if you don't fight. And then also, if you put all your eggs in a basket too soon, they basically don't do anything. So I've been able to document everything. Been pretty thorough with that. Got everything down to date and times. This video was taken on the 14th of October, 2016, and this is right when it really started to ramp up. It's continued on. It did get a little better through the Christmas holidays, but now it's ramped up again in January as the mother and the soon-to-be stepfather are about to get married, and she would love nothing better than to get me out of the picture so that they can have a happy old life. And I'm not going to let that happen. They can have a happy life all they want, but I'm not going to allow her to alienate me any further and from our kids. They deserve to know me. I've put a great deal of effort into making sure that we have a strong relationship, and that's probably the only thing that has kept them from being totally emotionally excluded from me. And she has tried, she's pretty much tried everything, from false allegations of molestation to, you name it. It's gotten pretty bad. So I'm going to run this video. If you have a comment or anything like that, please leave one. And also, people that are targets themselves, this is a great way to see basically what you're up against. If it's just starting out, you need to do something. You need to make sure you document every single thing. Drop-offs, pickups, everything. They will try to do things to make it so you can't document. You need to make sure you document. If you're in a state where you have to have a two-party consent to video record, you need to make sure that you let them know each time that you are recording. You got to make sure it's in a public place, because there are privacy laws. So just be careful, do what you got to do, and make sure you fight for your kids, because if you don't, you will end up one of these horror stories where you don't see your kids for years. So please, let's fight for the children. They deserve it, and they deserve to be in our lives just as much as they deserve to be in the other parent's life. All right, here we go. Oh, and you're going to hear a little dialogue at the end. The first thing you will hear is that he doesn't want to talk to me, which, before this whole alienation thing started, they always wanted to talk to me. In fact, they always wanted to stay with me, not because of anything other than they usually miss me because I do only have 8 visitation days per month. And they knew that when they came to Daddy's, they were gonna have a lot of fun. I was gonna take them out, do things, spend money on them, all that good stuff. Things kids like, play with them. They weren't, unfortunately, they weren't getting that from their mother. But anyways, you're gonna hear him say that. Then you're gonna hear some other dialogue. You'll see him pop in the videos. I had turned the phone to the side so that I can actually get, which I'm glad I did. Usually I don't do that, but in this case I happened to do it. Most of my videos is just the camera's looking at my leg or something like that. And then afterwards you hear some dialogue from me after I did the video, and I'll just run that for about a minute or so, and then end the video. All right, here we go.
Where's Faithy? Is Faithy there with you? Hey, Aiden. What's up, big buddy? I love you, little buddy. I miss you.
Don't love you.
What?
What'd you say? I love Dada.
Wow. All right, well, I hope you have fun, buddy. Tell Sissy to call me when you get home, okay? All right, love you, buddy.
Giggles in your tongue. I do giggles in your tongue.
Wow. That, I had to turn the phone the other way so, she couldn't see me recording, but that's like, it's such a good example of like what I deal with. I mean, she doesn't even, she doesn't encourage him and say, hey, you can't say that to your father. They're allowed to say it. Yeah, and to be honest, I'm convinced that, that it's coming.
All right, so yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. Right now she's actually just got a text from her today because I demanded that the kids go through counseling, so she signed them up for some intern counselor that's licensed in Florida, not licensed here. He's here for an internship, basically through a college here locally. And we've only been through. This video that you just saw was a month after the first time that I told her that they needed counseling. So, in other words, it's been like 4 months now, and we just had the first session together. They had been to one prior session at the beginning of December. She actually wouldn't give me the address for the counseling. She didn't want me there for good, I wonder why. But I did get a hold of the actual counseling center, let them know, hey, I got to be there. I kind of I clued him into what was going on. I told him I had concerns of parental alienation. And when we had our first meeting, the mother had actually, I brought it up again. I said, hey, We're supposed to be here for my daughter because my daughter is the one that's been mostly affected by this. She's now 6 years old. The boys, yeah, you just saw them in the video. They're affected by it, but for the most part, they're kind of oblivious to it. I haven't really had too many issues out of them as far as that's concerned. It's been mostly my daughter, whom I also have the strongest bond with. She's a daddy's girl. She always has been, and her mother knows that. And I don't think she likes it, because my daughter always wanted to be with me. She would throw fits because she just wanted to spend more time with me. She always asked to spend more time with me. Her mother, of course, would always tell her no. The only time that we would get extra time was if her mother wanted to, go out and do things, which prior to when this all started, or I should say for the first 2 years after our separation, she did go out a lot. So the kids were either with babysitters or with me during those times, and so we did get to spend, I would say, a decent amount of time extra together. So the kids were used to seeing me a lot more, and I always took really good care of them, and always will. The difference now is that she has finally found somebody. She wants me out of the way, and that's basically what we're down to right now. But if you will notice in the video, he didn't want to talk to me. That's a big change. He actually told me he didn't love me. That's a huge change. That's not my son at all. And I know the only reason why he said that was because he was with his mom, and he was, of course, being told to feel that way, or being persuaded or manipulated, or whatever you want to call it. That's not normal. Especially when I've never given him a reason to even feel that way. If you look through, if I were to show you videos of us together, pictures of us together, I've thousands of them. They're very happy, or were very happy with me. And now you see the difference. That's what alienation does, and it's not pretty. I will post more videos as I get them up and get them secured. I got to make sure I don't show any contact information for the mother, and but I'll get some more for you guys. You guys can see and make your own conclusion. Thank you, and don't forget to visit pedestals.siterubics.com. Thanks. Bye.